and I saw the prequel to The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is set 60 years, I want to say, before the first Hunger Games. Because, the first Hunger Games was the 74th annual Hunger Games, and this is set during the 10th annual Hunger Games. So I guess that would be 64 years before, yeah. The main character is Coriolanus Snow, Donald Sutherland's character, the villain from the original films. And it's basically a story about how he went from being like kind of a good person into the villain that he becomes in the franchise. And it's a very interesting look at how the Hunger Games was turned into the reality television spectacle that we saw it in the original film, because the way that it's portrayed in this film is that it really is just punishment at this point. Like, they don't even expect the Hunger, like they have the host of the Hunger Games where he like literally as the games are going on, he calls a restaurant saying, yeah, hey, I'm the host of the Hunger Games, it's going a little later than I expected, so can I bump my reservation to a later time tonight? Yeah, I'll still be there. So like nobody's expecting it to go that long. There's concerns about ratings. They're not even sure if the Hunger Games are going to continue. But Snow, he's a university student and is entered into the mentor program, which they take 24 students and have them be the mentors for the pledges, for the tributes. And this is kind of the first time that they're doing it. And Coriolanus Snow, when he's assigned a girl from District 12, Lucy Gray, she's kind of like a country music singer. And when she is chosen for the reaping ceremony, she sings. And that gets a bunch of people's attention. And he has the idea, interest in the Hunger Games has been waning, but she's got something. She has like an entertaining quality to her. And if we can get public interest in that might reinvigorate the games. And so it basically is about how her performance as a way to, engender sympathy in her ends up influencing the way that the Hunger Games gets turned into the big reality TV spectacle. And how, while that, might have saved her life, it kind of screwed over generations of kids afterwards. The Hunger Games themselves, they happen in the middle of the film, and there's quite a bit more after the Hunger Games are over in this film, which really surprised me. Like, generally the way these are is you would expect, okay, well, they've won the Hunger Games, that's the end of the movie. But this just keeps going after that, and is about the ways that people's scheming and the ways that they're trying to deal with the different political actors in the Capitol leads to basically good people turning bad. How the paranoia engendered by the oppressive system and the ways that people are forced into the edges of society, it doesn't necessarily make them good people. It can turn them bad. Ule1 says, don't you love the villain of the OG Get Thrown prequel to be villainous and stuff? Well, yeah, it's kind of like like how Lucas decided that the prequels would be focused on Anakin. I do think it's interesting to have villain protagonists. I think one of my favorite films of the 21st century is Infinity War, where Thanos is the main character. And like I've argued about how that's really that's why like Infinity War is the one time that there's like a cliffhanger ending that I don't really mind, because the cliffhanger ending, sure, it's like, okay, half of everyone's dead, we don't know what's going to happen to them. But in terms of the story itself, Thanos set out to do that as the villain protagonist of the film, and he succeeded. And the last shot of the film is him looking over his garden going, I did it, I have accomplished what I set out to do. And yeah, I think villain protagonists are very interesting. Not every main character needs to be a hero. And it's also good to see, the complex motivations that drive somebody to that kind of a dark place, and seeing the opportunities that they had to be better, and the missed connections, or just the unfortunate choices, and how they can all compound. It's a pretty long film. I think it's almost 3 hours long, and it kind of failed it. The production for it, I would say, is pretty good. It doesn't look like it had the same kind of actually, I haven't looked up the budget for it, but it doesn't have like as many of the big giant CGI spectacle things that you would have had in the previous entries for the Hunger Games. So this might have had like a lower budget in that regard. Like the Hunger Games themselves, they're just set like in like an indoor arena. It's not like any of the big like sprawling wooded areas with holographic edges and everything like that, like we saw in the other stuff, because this is, 60 years beforehand, the technology still being developed, and also it wasn't really treated as a reality TV show before this one. It was just treated as a punishment for the districts before this point. But my general understanding is that this is a fairly faithful adaptation of the book, because I was reading a plot synopsis of the book, and it's at least just in broad strokes, it hits pretty much every single plot point of that. I would not recommend seeing it if you haven't seen the others. You're going to probably be a little bored if you don't already know the setting, but it is an interesting tale about the creation of a villain. Axel says, I played Hunger Games Simulator so I could see my OCs kill each other. Oh man, okay. That reminds me, back in the day, I used to be a big fan of the show Survivor. Like the first couple seasons of that, like me and my mom, we would watch those kind of religiously. And I got the idea to create a game of Survivor in The Sims. And what I did was I just kind of created Sims based on like celebrities and politicians and stuff like that. And I put them all on an island. Each of them got one luxury item. And then they just had like, I had like a bathroom set up, and then everything else, they were outdoors. They would sleep. I don't even remember. I think they might have had bedrooms just because it was hard to get them to sleep outdoors. But basically everything else was just out in the open. And every time that the bill would come, I would pause the game, tally up everyone's relationships to each other, and whoever had the lowest overall ranking based on everyone got put into a pool with the ladder deleted. And Hillary Clinton was one of the members of the island, and she picked up a guitar and started playing it a bunch. And because they're all on an island with and so like it's all treated as one room, they can't like go and escape the sound. And because she's a new character, so she has no skills, so her creativity's at zero, and she's playing the guitar, she sounds really bad. Everyone was just coming up and booing her nonstop. So because she decided on the first day to just practice guitar, everyone hated it so much she got voted out right away. No, it's just that's what that reminded me of, Axel. But anyway, I think this film's fine. I don't think it's breaking any new ground in terms of cinema. But if you liked the other Hunger Games, I think you will find this a decent addition to the canon. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm trying to get my channel monetized, so your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like, and subscribe, and ring the bell. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m., so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons, with a very special shout out to my Whale Shark tier patron Ryan D, and my Anemone Friends tier patron Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.